Hey, Alex.
Hey, good to see you.
Great to see you.
And the fans! It's awesome!
Great.
Hi.
Hey, Alex.
That's what I'm talking about. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, sir. Who's got your bread? Good to see you, sir. God bless. Who's got your bread? You guys want to go over here, over there? I'll go over there if you want.
Wherever you want. Wherever you want. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
I like that.
What's up, brother?
Hey, man, good to see you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, this looks like Occupy people, but hard to Occupy Wall Street people here. That's good, too.
Alex Jones, pleasure to have you, man.
Hey, buddy, good to see you.
Sir.
Hundreds of newspapers are now focusing on the private Federal Reserve instead of some nebulous attack on the free market and Wall Street. It is the Federal Reserve and the 6 mega banks that control Wall Street. They got rid of Glass-Steagall. They bankrupted this country. They stole the tens of trillions of dollars. And they are going to pay for it. These criminals are going to pay for it, just like Bernie Madoff is rotting in a jail right now. You know, Bernie Madoff has come out and said from prison, he said, you know, all I did is what the Federal Reserve does. It's all a Ponzi scheme, and that's right. These guys, they get all of our wealth, and then when they blow the Ponzi scheme, they hand us all of their debt and tell us what a favor they're doing for us. Bullshit. They're the reason this country's falling apart. They're the reason we're losing our jobs. They're the globalists that shipped our jobs overseas. They're the people that run this country, and we see you. We know who you are. You know, a lot of people in the mainstream media, the dinosaur dying media, have tried to criticize Occupy Wall Street and say that they don't have direction. They do have direction, but the mainstream media goes and cherry picks and finds people in the crowd that are just upset about the economy. But I've had reporters all over this country talk to Occupy Wall Street. They know what the problem is. It's the Federal Reserve. And you know, people have asked, what's our list of demands? We demand that the curtain on their fraud be lifted. We will educate the public. This is a private criminal organization involved in crime. The private Federal Reserve cannot stand the light of publicity. They have operated for 98 years under the fraud that they are a federal agency when they are representative of 6 private mega banks: Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and others. Yeah! And we are here to expose the magician's trick. We're here to Houston police. I've been all over the world, including England, demonstrating against the globalists. And almost everywhere the police have acted like we're some kind of evil demons or something for knowing how to tie our shoelaces and knowing how the world works. But here, they're not acting like, we're some type of evil people. They're acting like that we are their fellow Americans. And the police are there just making sure that we don't block traffic or the traffic doesn't run into us. They're here to defend our First Amendment. They're not standing around. They're not standing around bugging their eyes out at us like some of them were yesterday in Dallas, like we had done something wrong. We're the people that know what the problem is, and we want these criminals to go to prison, and we're exposing them, and they're going down. And make no mistake, this is leaderless resistance. Our system of liberty is based on ideas because they're invincible, because they're eternal, the basic precepts of liberty. And that's why people say, well, what are our demands? I know what I think's a good idea. Audit and then abolish the Federal Reserve and start federal and state indictments against the Goldman Sachs operatives that are inside the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, giving themselves trillions of our taxpayer money. They've had Senate hearings in the last year admitting that serious crimes have been committed, just like Fast and Furious, with the federal government shipping guns into Mexico and cocaine back into the United States. So we know they're criminals. Now we just got to point it out and start beating the drum to arrest their ass.
Who's got your bread? Who's got your bread?
The feds got your bread! Who's got your bread? The feds got your bread! Who's got your bread? The feds got your bread!
Who's got your bread? The feds got your bread!
That's right. The private Federal Reserve has stolen $27+ trillion we know about in the last 3.5 years from us, and they got the nerve to tell us they want to raise our taxes and cut people's benefits, and they make the whole debate about the welfare system when that isn't even part of this. That's just chicken feed to get us dependent on them. These people, their main job is suppressing the incredible power of the human spirit and the fact that we can all be basically unlimitedly wealthy because of the power of humanity and our industrial civilization. It is the Federal Reserve member banks that are funding all the shutdowns of our power plants and our infrastructure and shipping our jobs overseas. The Federal Reserve is the engine of America and the world's destruction. It is here preying upon liberty and freedom. It is here trying to make us all poor and dependent on them. They are the 21st century slave masters, and they're going down! In the Fed! 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 Let me just say this. It is awesome to be out here in this energized South Texas Houston crowd. You people are awesome! And I want to expand upon that. I want to expand upon something here.
Come on, Houston.
A lot of people say, what are our list of demands? Bring back Glass-Steagall. Don't let the mega banks issue derivatives. A, start the criminal investigations for the admitted crimes of the private Federal Reserve. Go back to constitutional money. Bring the power of the purse back into the Congress. Educate the public on monetary principles and systems. End the wars that the Federal Reserve, and make no mistake, that's who's hijacked America, is orchestrating worldwide in our name. Indict these criminals and bring them to justice and claw back the tens of trillions of dollars they've stolen back into the government and the republic to make it solvent. That is what we're calling for here today. Make no mistake, the Occupy Wall Street people at the grassroots have done a great job. But publicly, now listen to me carefully, this is key. And this is what the media who's here today needs to understand. They attempted to use Michael Moore, Barack Obama, George Soros, all of them from the left wing of the New World Order to come in and demonize private property in the free market. When everything the private Federal Reserve does is try to destroy the free market so that we're absolute slaves to them. They want us all dependent. So here's the key. Here's the key to occupying the Fed. The absolute key to all of this is that we realize and that we understand that more and more the people of the United States are realizing that it's fractional reserve banking that is enslaving. And when you have the head of the Federal Reserve in Dallas, the head of the National Fed, Ben Bernanke, when you have all of these people come out and start saying, oh, we support the protesters, that is them desperately trying to shift blame off of the Federal Reserve, crony capitalist monopoly man, on to just general free market systems to create a class war in this country so the bankers can play us off against each other. But that is not going to happen because all over the country and all over the world, the people understand it is the central bankers that are behind this, and that's the Federal Reserve. In the Fed. 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 Occupy Wall Street and Wall Street's big boss, the Mafia Don, the Federal Reserve. Absolutely. Occupy Wall Street, occupy Houston, and take out the head of the snake, the private Federal Reserve. Yay, Occupy Houston. Folks, I just want to point out that Occupy Houston and the great job they're doing exposing the criminals that have taken over Wall Street have got their base camp. Have got their base camp right down here. So when this is over today, whoever can join them for the weekend to hang out with great people and continue to get media coverage on this. In fact, I intend to try to go down there today as well. Great job, Occupy Houston.
My name is Dick. I'm a member of the Houston Freethinkers. We want to thank Alex for bringing more people out here. If you are in Houston and you want to get active, go to HoustonFreethinkers.com. Email us, find us. Houston is awake. Check out Occupy Houston. The city is alive and awake with activism. It's time we wake up the rest of the city. If you're ready to get active, don't wait for Alex. Don't wait for Ron Paul. Don't wait for anybody. It's time for us to do it. We are the resistance! We are the revolution! We are the resistance! Find us! It's time to wake up, our brothers and sisters, and we're doing it. Thank you guys for being here. We love you very much.
I am an oath keeper. I am an American. I believe in the truth.
Come on. Get down on the fence. Oh, yeah. You rock, Michelle!
This country needs to wake up now. And that means you police, that means you military. We need to let our citizens know that we are not going to round them up. We are not going to defeat their civil liberties. We took an oath to the Constitution.
Amen.
We got to defend it. We didn't start it, but we got to end it. We stole the Constitution.
Down Wells Fargo. All right, here we go. Hit them where it hurts. In their pocketbook.
That's another great point he's making. The six big mega banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citigroup, pull your money out of them and expose them. They are the people that run the front group of the Federal Reserve that masquerades as a government agency and steals our money. This is the enemy of the Republic. This is who has to be removed and handed back over to Congress. This is the group. This is the group demonizing the American people, demonizing Ron Paul. But again, their fraud is falling. The world is now learning about the private banking cartel. You know, John F. Kennedy started to move to abolish the Federal Reserve and issue U.S. notes, not Federal Reserve notes. And that's the main reason they finally killed him. That's why we were in Dallas yesterday, where close to 50 years ago they murdered JFK. And you can say what you want about JFK, he wasn't perfect, but he was the last real president who was actually trying to wear the pants of the White House and run things. Since then, we've had a pure military coup in this country, financed by the enemy, the offshore Federal Reserve. You know, it came out this year that 16.6 trillion of the 27 plus trillion went overseas to foreign banks and foreign individuals. Your tax money that you've got to have your taxes raised, they say, to pay for, went to trillionaire banks, went to billionaire people. That's why Warren Buffett, who got banker bailout money through Bank of America and Wells Fargo, wants to raise your taxes because he's exempt. He wants your money. It's another one of their hoaxes, like telling you that the Federal Reserve is a government operation when it's private. And believe me, if you type in the Fed right now into a search engine, there are hundreds and hundreds of TV stations reporting on it, newspapers. This is big news. The bankers want to try to hijack movements against corruption on Wall Street. But I'm here to tell you, they have failed. The real enemy has been identified, and we will continue to identify the private Federal Reserve. Yeah, we got the income tax the same year we got the Federal Reserve. All that money goes to the private bank. That's why you write, if you don't just do withholding, but if you write checks to the IRS, they actually go to the Federal Reserve. Your tax money goes to these people. That's a pretty good scam, isn't it? How many businesses, how many homes, how many lives? I've seen the reports of the IRS grabbing people's wedding rings off their fingers. All so these greedy, murdering globalists can sit on top of our nation and hijack it and use our country to take over the entire planet. It is wrong and it ends now! Sign. The system is not broken. It was built that way. And that's absolutely right. This system, you can't go to this system and get it to make deals with you and give you concessions. All you can do is remove it because it's predatory, it's designed to enslave us, and that's why we need to end the banker-run Wall Street monopoly of power that is waging war against Main Street and the people of this country. Down with the Federal Reserve! Down with the New Order!
Oh, hey.
It's $1.
Real dollar.
Yeah, that used to be $1.
Yeah.
Now it's worth like 25 or 30.
Yeah, so use that for gas, so it's $1.
32, yeah.
That'll fill up a tank of gas.
$1. Hey, that's a great example. Let me give a speech about that.
Real money. Federal Reserve.
You know, a fella just came over and handed me this silver dollar. This thing's probably worth about $35 right now today. I guess silver's at 32, but you can't buy one of these for $35. So 60, 70 years ago, this was a $1, this big heavy piece of silver. This $1 today is worth $35. That's what the Federal Reserve does. It destroys our currency. It destroys our people on fixed incomes. It debases our nation. That's how the globalists have destroyed third world countries, is through this same system over and over again. And that's why we're here. No more debt servitude. We know your plan. We know your program. We see you. We're awake, and we're coming for you. The most important thing that this country needs to do is get its republic back. And that means after 98 years of these criminal offshore banks hijacking our nation through fraud, we are awake to the scam, and no amount of new wars or staged terror is going to fool the American people. No amount of big, bald eagles in front of their buildings are going to fool us. This is a private, criminal mafia, and it is the enemy of this country, and the Federal Reserve is going down. You notice that Rick Perry has tried to become Ron Paul.
That's right.
You notice that Mitt Romney's trying to become Ron Paul, and now Herman Cain, who was the actual head of the Kansas City Federal Reserve, is trying to become Ron Paul.
That's right.
But what does that show us? It shows us how far we've come.
That's right.
Yes.
The fact that the Federal Reserve claims they're in so country shows how scared they are. They know that they've committed crimes to take over, and they know that they're not going to get away with it.
That's right.
We are going to end the Fed, and we're going to restore the Republic. You know, I saw some people here today who for 30, 40, 50 years have been fighting the private Federal Reserve back when nobody was listening to them. And it was those seeds that people like Ron Paul and G. Edward Griffin and others that are here today planted 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Thousands of great patriots. Alan Stang, you name it, the list goes on and on. That now today it is so incredibly popular and people are informed and they know that the private Federal Reserve is the enemy and they understand that nothing can change until they're gone, because as that fellow Shine said earlier, things aren't broken. This is how the globalists want it to be. They want to get rid of the free market. They want to make us their slaves. And we're not going to let them co-opt Occupy Wall Street and turn it into a class warfare thing to demonize anybody that's upset with Wall Street. We're here pointing out the real enemies, and this system is scared to death. The globalists came out in the last 3 days and said, oh, we're with you. We understand your anger. We understand your problem with the free market. Just let the Federal Reserve pass a VAT or sales tax. We'll rape you real good and give all that money to us. Your money is paid to these private banksters. That's why they want higher taxes. This country had a 10% growth rate in its first 100+ years until the Federal Reserve came along. 140-something years into our history, we had a 10% growth rate every year. This truly was the land of opportunity. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than everywhere else. They come along, our average growth rate's near zero. These people have destroyed our republic, and we're taking it back. It's over! Now, the Federal Reserve is the holding company that the 6 big mega banks operate through and con everybody. But it is the Goldman Sachs and the Bank of Americas and the J.P. Morgans and the Wells Fargos and the Citigroups. They are the enemy. And I'm going to encourage people in the next few weeks to not just occupy and keep demonstrating against the Federal Reserve all over this nation, but to also expose Bank of America and others. They don't just robo-sign. They've been caught taking houses they never had a deed to that weren't even in default. These are nothing but highway robbers.
And the Rothschild occupation.
And like all criminals, they ended up reaching too far. Like all criminals, they started trying to take tens of thousands of houses they didn't even owe. And now they're losing in court. Now everybody knows they're a bunch of Bernie Madoff, Ken Lay criminals. Time is running out for the globalist. And believe me, we've come light years from 20 years ago when almost no one knew about the Federal Reserve being the enemy. And you think our numbers are small today, they're growing. You are the seed of the system that is going to grow up and restore the Republic and destroy these
Stop covering for Israel! Stop covering for Israel!
These guys come over here and they over and over again say, stop covering for Israel.
Damn right!
And then when I say Israel's wrong, killing people at the flotilla, these same type of groups spin it and say I supported it.
9/11.
And so that's the other issue, is that it's just a one-trick, one-track. This is a big tent, not about race or religion. It's about getting rid of the Federal Reserve, no matter who runs it. I'm not going down that rabbit trail where the New World Order wants me to go. I'm going to point out the Federal Reserve is the one raising our taxes and bankrupting our country. And it's unjust, and they're going down. Going down. The New World Order is going down. No matter who's piloting it, it's going down. name like Ron Paul came up with in the Fed. We would just say, get rid of the Federal Reserve, restore the Republic, and we'd have little rallies at the Capitol and 20 people show up. Now, 200, 300, 400, 1,000 are showing up at different rallies across the country. And next, it's going to be 10,000, 20,000. Because every letter written to the editor symbolizes 5,000 to 10,000 people. Because every person that came out here today represents thousands and thousands of people statistically that are angry. So when the system sees 300, 400 people out here today, the system sees 40,000 out here. They know what's happening. They know the sleeping giant is awakening. And it's only a matter of time.
Where's the media?
Right here, baby.
Houston!
We are the media.
If you're against the Federal Reserve, every Monday from 4 to 7, the Houston Freethinkers are here doing street action. HoustonFreethinkers.com. We got to keep this going. Whether Alex or anybody's here or not, we're here every Monday. 2 people, 10 people. We need our numbers to grow. We need to show them. Please get involved in your city. Check out HoustonFreethinkers.com. Thank you.
It's been going on for centuries. Reichstag in Germany, the Gulf of Tonkin, and now 9/11. 9/11 spawned the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act killed the Constitution.
Yes, it did.
Bring down the Patriot Act. We want to bring back Glass-Steagall. We want our country back. We want our republic back. We want our Constitution back. Learn what governments are capable of. Learn what the elites are capable of. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. They just want power. They want to rule the world. They want you as their slave. They have you as their slave. We have got to end this system for our children, for our grandchildren. They do not deserve to inherit this debt.
You know, that's a very important point. Of the tens of trillions of bailout money given to the private Federal Reserve Group shareholders, they intend for us to pay them for money we gave them. That's the hubris, the arrogance, the chutzpah, whatever you want to call it, of the New World Order. And it's time to stand up and say, we are not going along with your scam. We have woken up to your fraud. We see through it. We see through your system. And make no mistake, we saw massive coverage of In the Fed demonstrations Thursday. Then we saw a lot less Friday and today, but still massive from the mainstream corporate media. And we see very little coverage in Houston today. Okay, they want this to be ignored, but the good news is the playing field is being leveled. How many of you are going to put this stuff on YouTube? I know the videos we posted of storming the Texas Capitol got seen by, 500,000 people. All of you are going to post your videos together. It's going to reach millions.
Right.
We're reaching millions of people right now with the information in the next few days that's going to be seen. And that's the great part about it. The mainstream dinosaur media hasn't figured out yet why they're losing all their viewers and falling apart. It's because they abscond with the truth. They try to keep the people in ignorance, but not forever, because we are the real media, the citizen media. Every one of you here today is making history. And our fellow humans, our fellow Americans of every race, religion, color, creed, across this country and across the world, in Germany, in Spain, in Ireland, in Portugal, in Greece, in Iceland, they're fighting the banksters. In Europe, they sold the people on quasi-socialism. And now the people have woken up that the banks were stealing most of their money and never even giving them back but like 20% of what the people have been taken from. And so now in Europe they just dispense with claiming, oh, we want to raise your taxes to help people too. We're the bankers. We'll bankrupt your entire country if you don't pay us more and let us raise your taxes. And Europe is rebelling. That's the good news. Europe is rebelling. The world is rebelling against the same money changers. They are rebelling against the same money changers across the board. They are rebelling against the fraudsters, the Federal Reserve. Their days are numbered and they the 21st century villagers in the Transylvanian village, and we're up here in Frankenstein's castle saying, we don't like this monster you created, get rid of it! And we don't just want to get rid of the Federal Reserve, the Frankenstein monster, we want to get rid of the globalist, Illuminati, New World Order scientists that created this fraud. You know, there's a reason these places are all built like fortresses. This is just one of the little branch banks, because they've always known the people historically wake up to their fraud.
Making a homeless shelter.
Yeah, we need to shut this building down and make it a homeless shelter for all the people whose houses you stole. I want to say something here today. All you great people come up to shake my hand and thank me. I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Listen. We all hang together or we surely hang separate. We're all under attack by these criminals. I'm out here simply trying to survive, standing up against these criminal bullies. They're trying to set up a police state, launch all these wars, take our liberties, and turn us into debt slaves.
Right.
You people are who I admire. You're my rock stars. You're the people I care about because you're not just watching football today and sucking your thumb. You're out here addressing the real criminals. And I salute all of you out here from Free Humanity. And also, again, because it's so rare to see police actually do their job and just be out here to make sure traffic doesn't get blocked and leave us alone and protect the First Amendment.
Amen.
Instead of police that have been made to be so afraid of the public, instead of police that have been made to be so afraid of the public that they all massed with gang units yesterday in Dallas and stood there bugging their eyes out at us like they had to keep us intimidated because we were criminals.
Wow.
We're the good guys exposing the criminals.
That's right. For the Constitution.
I'm about Bohemian Grove.
Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, it's either us or them. The Federal Reserve wants to destroy our republic, destroy our freedoms. It's us or the Federal Reserve. They are the collectivists. They are the corporate board. They are the plague, and they will fall. But make no mistake, they are now scared. And that makes them more dangerous than ever. I'd rather have them just be arrogant. The globalists now realize that their time is coming.
Yes.
The New World Order knows it. So they may release bioweapons or blow up cities or start wars or all three or more. But it doesn't matter because we've educated people not only about the Federal Reserve, but